Good afternoon. My name is Richard Chambers, Commissioner of Police. I have with me the Honourable Mark Mitchell, Minister of Police, and Warwick Morehu, Regional Commissioner Oranga Tamariki. Thank you for coming along this afternoon. I'd like to give you a bit of an overview as to what the Minister and I have done today, and then I will pass to Warwick, and following that we will open it up for questions. The Minister and I arrived back from Australia in the early hours of this morning, where we both attended the funerals of the lost Victoria police officers. When I got the phone call at 1:47 a.m. Melbourne time yesterday morning, from that point on, our focus has been on the events here in New Zealand, and in particular the work of my staff in dealing with the tragedy yesterday morning. Can I acknowledge the incredible work of my police colleagues and how proud I am of the work that they do day and night across the country, but in particular dealing with a very volatile situation. I also acknowledge the loss of Mr. Phillips in that event yesterday morning. When the Minister and I arrived back to New Zealand this morning, our priority was to travel here to the Waikato and to meet with the injured police officer. We have just returned from the hospital. We also took time to meet with the family of our colleague who are here with him supporting his recovery. The Minister and I have also taken time to meet with the investigation team. That includes not only those that are dealing with the critical incident that occurred yesterday morning, but also those that have been involved in this investigation for over 4 years. Can I say how proud I am of all the police staff who have worked tirelessly over 4 years on this investigation. We are very, very fortunate that we are not dealing with the loss of a New Zealand police officer. Can I comment too also on the pride and courage of not only that police officer but his colleagues who were there with him dealing with the situation that unfolded yesterday morning. For 4 years we have known that Mr. Phillips has been armed, he's been dangerous, and he has been motivated. We have taken time over that 4 years to consider how best to deal with the situation. We were confident that irrespective of how hard we tried to bring it to a peaceful conclusion, that with a motivated person, that was always going to be a challenge. And that has informed the way that we have dealt with this matter over the 4 years, and including the way that we dealt with the recovery of children late yesterday. When our colleague was shot yesterday, we had the police Eagle helicopter down here from Auckland, and can I acknowledge their work supporting the incident. The helicopter landed and the crew on board that, which included 2 of my police officers, provided first aid to the shot police officer. Likewise, the other police staff that had come from across the Waikato district that were there in support of that officer, and I honestly believe that he is still with us today because of the work that they did after he'd been shot. We were able to get the support of one of the children yesterday morning to better understand where other children may be located. That information allowed us to then locate the remaining children about 2 kilometres away in dense bush. And there are some photos here that you are welcome to take pictures of to help demonstrate the challenging environment in which we were operating. We were also advised that we were likely to find firearms at the campsite, and we did. So our approach throughout yesterday, until such time as we recovered the remaining children safe and well, was cautious, and that was necessary. We must not forget that these children have been living in the bush for 4 years. They are skilled in that environment, and we need to approach the scene very, very cautiously to ensure that nobody was harmed as we worked very, very hard to recover them safely. Warwick will talk soon to the care and protection that has been wrapped around those children. I thank my staff who have worked tirelessly for 4 years on this investigation. We've got a lot of work to do from this point on, but for over 4 years they've put their heart and soul into trying to find Mr. Phillips and the children. You've got to remember that as police officers we wear uniforms, but behind this uniform there are also human beings, mums and dads, sons and daughters. And it's not easy when you are so determined to ensure that these children are safe and well. When we face so many other challenges and a motivated offender, it's a challenge to bring this to a conclusion. The staff that we have met with this morning, whilst very pleased that we now have the children safe and well, the emotion that the Minister and I have seen this morning is very clear. We always knew this was going to be a challenge, but I thank the staff that have worked on this investigation for such a long time. From this point on, we have obviously a police investigation into the circumstances of the incident yesterday morning. We have another investigation that will help put the puzzle together that tells us more about the last 4 years, and in particular anybody who may have been helping Mr. Phillips, and we will deal with them accordingly. We also have an IPCA investigation, which is entirely normal in this situation. That is all from me, and I'll open it up to questions shortly. But in closing, can I also acknowledge Acting Deputy Commissioner Jill Rogers. Whilst the Minister and I were in Australia representing our country and our organisation, New Zealand Police, at the funerals of 2 fallen Victoria officers, we were very conscious of the work that was happening back here in New Zealand. I acknowledge Acting Deputy Commissioner Rogers for her outstanding leadership yesterday in providing as much information as we were able to in the challenging events of yesterday. I now invite Minister Mark Mitchell to offer any further comment.
Okay. Well, thanks very much everyone for being here with us. It's obviously been a very tough 24 hours for the entire country. There's been a high degree of public interest in this case. There's been a high degree of concern for the children, and unfortunately it came to its conclusion yesterday with the father attempting to kill one of our police officers, who we have just visited in the hospital, and I'm pleased to say was able to talk with us and certainly gave myself and the Commissioner a sense that although he's got a tough pathway to recovery, there is a pathway to recovery, and we are very thankful that we still have him with us. We spent time with his wife and his family, his father, his mother, sister and brother-in-law, and you can all only imagine how they're feeling at this time. Extremely proud of him, extremely proud of the police officers that took action yesterday. Everyone can see, I hope, the country can see the situation that the police were presented with in trying to deal with the situation, and to try and conclude it without the loss of life, and in particular those children. You had a father, Mr. Phillips, who in my view had no regard for the safety of those children. He seemed to be solely motivated in terms of what he wanted to do and how things were impacting him. When he's a suspect of having taken his children into violent and dangerous offending on several occasions prior to him being dealt with or found and detected, and then the police being reported in the last 48 hours. He has quite literally put his children in harm's way. And the police, certainly since I've been police minister, have been very clear with me that everything that they do and the approach that they've taken is quite simply put those children's safety at the forefront of the decisions that were made. And their concerns were they were going to be presented with a situation where we had a tragedy and we lost those kids. And I think everyone can see with what unfolded that that was a genuine and a real concern. So I want to acknowledge the police. I want to acknowledge the leadership here, the police leadership here, Acting Deputy Commissioner Jill Rogers, the Commissioner, who was very clear, although we were in Melbourne, that it was important to get information out to the public quickly, because, like I said, there was a very high level of public interest in this and public concern, and of course the communities that are impacted and affected, it was only fair that they were kept informed and they understood what was going on. As you'd understand, it's a highly sensitive matter, and there'll be more information that will come, but not all of it. We can't speak to all of it right now. So I'd like to acknowledge the fact that there's been a big human cost to this, whether it be the fact that we've had one of our officers up at the Waikato Hospital having to undergo surgeries for critical injuries, his family, whether it be our police officers who, like the Commissioner said, have been working on this for 40 years, and you could see the emotion in them because they are human, they are heavily invested in this, and of course the huge relief that, although we've had a tragedy in the loss of Mr. Phillips, the huge relief that those children are back now safe in Oranga, Tamariki and extended family. I want to acknowledge the OC of the police case, the investigations, all those teams, the entire police family who, in my view, have quite simply been outstanding and have been on display for us again as a country to show that we are served by a world-class police service that is fully dedicated to making sure they keep the communities that they serve safe. I want to acknowledge the Phillips family. I know that they have been through a lot as well, and they'll be going through a lot right now. And like I said, there's been no winners in this. It has been an extremely difficult situation, but has been brought to a conclusion now. Those children are back in safe care. They've obviously got a long road ahead of them in terms of recovery, but they're able to start that road. They're able to start that journey now, and with that, I think it's appropriate to hand over to Warwick Morehu.
Tēnā tātou, thank you, Commissioner, Minister. I'm Warwick Morehu, Regional Commissioner, Oranga, Tamariki, Waikato, Bay of Plenty. Firstly, I would like also to offer our condolences to the Phillips whānau and their loss, and acknowledge the brave deeds of our police in those early hours. Essentially, especially thinking of the injured police officer at this time and his whānau, wishing him a speedy recovery to good health. Through his efforts, he has enabled the safe return of these tamariki. I want to say I am constrained in the amount of information I can share. The Family Court are actively managing this case, and we will comply with the directions they give us. I want to assure the community here in Waikato and also the wider public of New Zealand that my team in this region have been planning and preparing for the return of these tamariki from when they went missing. I can confirm that the children are settled and were settled last night. They are doing well under the circumstances and engaging with the staff supporting them. Going forward, I have an experienced and dedicated team of staff assigned to this. They are prepped and ready to respond to whatever needs these tamariki might have. We are joined up with our partner agencies across the children's system to respond to those needs. We have clinical professionals who put their hands up to assist if required. I want to assure you all that these tamariki will be provided with whatever help or assistance they may need, for however long they may need it. Now, I understand that there is huge public interest in these tamariki and their well-being. But all I can ask is that we please give them some privacy. These are young tamariki. This has been unprecedented, these circumstances. Everyone is doing their very best to ensure we can return them to some form of normal daily life We don't know exactly what that looks like yet and how long that may take. We will be guided by these Tamariki and what they need. We would ask that you please keep that in mind as we move forward. Kia ora and thank you.
Thank you. We will take some questions in a moment. If I can just add a little bit more detail. As the Minister has said, and I've said, we had the privilege of meeting with our injured officer this morning and his family. It'll be a long road to recovery. He's a very well-respected, capable and enthusiastic police officer. New Zealand Police will wrap around the support that he needs and his family needs to ensure that he returns to being the police officer that he wants to be. But what the Minister and I saw this morning was very confronting, and he has a long way to go before he gets that opportunity again. Secondly, and finally, before we open up for questions, I want to acknowledge the hard work of many police officers from around New Zealand who have been involved in this investigation over the 4 years. I've had the opportunity this year, since being Commissioner, to meet with the investigation team a number of times. I've also had the opportunity to go and visit them deep in the bush, late at night, when they're doing their work. This has been going on continuously for 4 years. And I'm very, very proud of the work that they have done. It's taken us a while, but yesterday's events demonstrate why it needed to take a while, and that our risk assessment way back in the beginning in terms of the potential threat and danger, not only to young children but also to my police staff, the decisions that we've made along the way were the right ones. Thank you.